The next story comes from Katie Rooms, a devoted nature enthusiast who, until recently, spent most of her time camping in a tent, deep in forests and among rolling hills. Not long ago, she took the next step in her journey and purchased a van, giving her the freedom to reach even more isolated and hard-to-access places. In this video, Katie attempts stealth camping in her van for the very first time. The night is dominated by wind and rain, not ideal conditions but hardly unfamiliar for someone living on the road. The evening begins calmly. She cooks herself a simple pasta meal inside the van, settles in with a good book, and takes in the quiet surroundings. Everything feels normal, but as midnight draws near, the atmosphere begins to shift. Let's take a look at what happens next.
The storm is definitely going crazy outside, but you know what? Look at my little situation. I'm having a great time in here. It's so cozy. The van does keep shaking side to side though, and like my fairy lights keep going do 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 do. It's about 8 p.m. now. I normally head to bed at around 9:30. It's getting a little bit chilly. I'm gonna get one of my sleeping bags out. It's quite cold, so get this out, shove it over me, and I'll be warm. I am absolutely knackered. The van keeps going side to side. It's like it's more infrequent gusts right now. Before I was being absolutely battered. I am gonna head to bed, but I will see you all bright and early. It's probably not gonna be bright outside because the sun doesn't rise until like 9 a.m. now. It's ridiculous. I will see you all in the morning. Night. It's about midnight right now, and a group of teenagers have pulled up next to me like a boy racer car. There's a couple of cars. I can hear them around the van. They keep talking about illegal stuff, razzing their cars around and playing like really loud music. I was flat out. Oh, this is so annoying. Okay, from what I can tell, there's about 3 vehicles and I'm fully blocked in.
The night passed without any serious incidents for Katie. Still, it's hard not to question her decision to remain there, especially after overhearing nearby individuals openly discussing illegal activities. Most likely they had no idea Katie was present, or that the vehicle was even a van. They spoke freely and without restraint, a strong indication that they didn't feel observed. Had they realized someone was close by, the situation could have escalated quickly, particularly if the gathering involved the buying or selling of illegal substances, something that, given the location, seems entirely plausible. I'm not suggesting that every uncomfortable moment requires an immediate exit, but there are times when avoiding unnecessary risk is the wiser choice. Katie appears to live on the edge, choosing to stay in situations like this. Fortunately, everything ended safely. Aside from a few hours of revving engines, distant conversations, and unexplained noises, nothing more came of it. Vanessa, a dedicated nature enthusiast with a deep passion for bushcraft and off-grid living. She is the creator behind the channel Wild Woman Bushcraft, where she shares her strong connection to nature and commitment to self-reliance. Turning to this story, we find Vanessa facing a serious and unexpected situation. Motivated by her love for bushcraft, she constructed a makeshift cabin using only natural materials: wood, earth, and forest moss. It was a remote, primitive shelter that appeared safe enough at first. Unfortunately, this time luck wasn't on her side. What begins as a manageable problem gradually escalates minute by minute into something far more concerning. Let's see how the story unfolds.
Welcome back. My name is Vanessa Blank from Wild Woman Bushcraft, and my plan was today to bring you with me in the forest to my forest camp because I had some projects planned that I want to finish today, and you would be able to accompany me. So I switch now to the start of the video because my camp was completely destroyed from someone, and the video is now completely different as I like to create it and as I planned it. So we switch now to the beginning, how the video should normally start, and then what I found here.
After the brief introduction, Vanessa makes her way back to the location where she had built her small campsite, a place she had poured time, effort, and genuine passion into. When she arrives, it becomes immediately clear that everything has been destroyed. But unfortunately, it doesn't end there. Beyond the vandalized shelter, whoever was responsible left something else behind, something deliberate, a detail that shifts this from simple destruction to something far more disturbing. You can see it clearly in Vanessa's reaction. She struggles to find the right words as the weight of the moment sets in. The emotions overwhelm her, and the shock is unmistakable.
So there is a notification with my name on it. Mrs. Blank, learned nothing, short trousers, and then something I can't read. I'm not sure what really stand there. I wanna piss at you or I wanna visit you. It's such a ugly writing. I'm not sure if I read everything. So you was not there. What a pity. Your camp is now damaged and it's your fault. We see us. So it was something that know me, that know my camp. Nein, geh nicht ein. Nein. And just want to destroy it because it's mine. What an asshole. Den Zettel nehme ich mit. I bring this notification at home. Also jetzt hat der Spaß ein Loch. So there is a photo from me. It's the same backpack that I carry today, and it's very damaged. So I'm not sure if it's a wildlife trek photo or not, because there is the date on it. But when it's not a wildlife camera photo, that means that this person was in my closer area and take a photo from me, walked behind me, wants to check where I am, what I do. Or I have no idea how they could other ways find out at which day I am in the forest, because I have no special day. And that means that I have this shit again. I had it all in the past. I had a stalker that write me letters at my private address, which is something that nobody knows, which knows who I am, which knows the places where I was bushcrafting, and take photos of them and send it to me. Look, I found your new camp.
There is something seriously wrong at the core of that behavior. In Vanessa's situation, this goes well beyond casual following. What she experienced represents a far more serious escalation. The individual involved doesn't seem to be driven by obsession alone. There are unmistakable signs of harmful intent. What makes this even more disturbing is Vanessa's admission that she has faced similar situations before. That history gives real context to her fear. The situation becomes even more alarming when she reveals that she later returned to the same area with her children, unaware of the potential risks she may have been placing them in if the person was still monitoring her movements. We do know that Vanessa takes her safety seriously. She carries both a knife and a firearm, which she says she keeps accessible whenever she feels threatened. While it's somewhat reassuring that she's prepared to defend herself, it's deeply troubling that such precautions are necessary at all because people capable of this behavior exist. What are your thoughts on her experience? How would you react if you found yourself in a similar situation? Jenna Alexis is another true camping enthusiast, the kind of person who isn't afraid to head out alone, just her in the forest. But this time, she pushed things even further. She decided to do a full bushcraft experience. No tent, no real shelter, just a tarp, a pillow, and whatever instincts she had. The day began peacefully. She found a perfect spot, set up her minimal camp, and expected a quiet night in nature. But out in the wilderness, everything can change in an instant. And for Jenna, that moment came fast. Let's take a look.
Any wind or rain or anything on the forecast, so this should work just fine. This is it from the inside. Want to get her all cozy in there. I'm not even taking the time to pack up nicely because I just want to get out of here. Okay, goodbye to the campsite that once almost was. I don't think I left anything. Barely got everything in my bag because I didn't fold everything properly. I'm just trying to get out of here. I have half my stuff in my food bag.
I know what some might think, that her reaction was exaggerated for views, but her channel isn't built on fake drama. And if you look closely at her expression and the fear in her voice, it's clear this was real. Out in the forest at night, with no tent and no real protection, your instincts are all you have. Ignoring them is usually the quickest way to get into serious trouble. Jenna made the right decision by leaving, because the idea that someone might be watching you, checking on you, making sure you're still there, that's the kind of situation that can turn dangerous very quickly. Some people are strange, some have no sense of boundaries, and some have far darker intentions. What do you think really happened out there? Next, we turn to the channel of Mav, a well-known YouTuber who has built a massive following around his content. The video we're about to look at is one that quickly went viral. A dedicated outdoor enthusiast, Mav converted his vehicle into a compact van, giving him a secure place to sleep wherever his adventures take him. In this video, Mav plans to spend the night parked near a lake, where he originally intended to go fishing. On the surface, it's a straightforward plan with no apparent risks. The footage skips ahead in time. After arriving at the location, it cuts directly to nighttime as Mav settles in for sleep. But the night doesn't bring calm. Instead, it introduces a very real threat, one that leaves Mav experiencing a level of fear he later says he's never felt before. Let's see how it unfolds.
This is a local soda called a Cream Ale, made by Castle Danger. This is actually one of my all-time favorite soft drinks. Kind of a weird little stealth camping, boondocking type deal I've got going on tonight. I haven't ever been I just felt very overwhelmed earlier with how many people were driving by and how many eyes I had on me. It's kind of a odd thing to have a bunch of cameras out and a truck bed with a bed in it. I mean, people can probably connect the dots there, what's going on. So, I don't know. Had to leave for a while and then came back and nobody's here. So, I'm going to make short of it. I'm not going to have this light on in here for very long because people can probably see pretty well, at least through my back windshield. Early morning for me tomorrow. The salmon like to bite, apparently right when it turns light out, so I'm going to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, 5 a.m., and I'm going to try to get out there before it gets too light out, so hopefully we can catch a few in the morning, and then I don't have to worry about getting anything for catch and cook. Alright, so there's people right outside. They just did a burnout in their truck, and they're just hanging out right here. I don't know what's going on. I know you can't see me right now, but I can't risk turning on any lights. God, this is so annoying. Alright, well, they just want to hang out and play music. That's fine.
After a minor disturbance caused by people parking right beside him, despite the lot being nearly empty, Mav decides it's time to get some sleep. Honestly, it's hard to understand why anyone would choose to park directly next to someone when there's plenty of open space. Even so, Mav tries to ignore it. He settles in, lies down, and prepares for the night, assuming everything will quiet down. But at that exact moment, what happens next leaves him completely terrified. Let's continue.
See you in the morning. Alright, so my main camera has died. It's about 2:30 in the morning, and I tried to get a little clip of it before my camera died, but there was like 2 kids out this way, and I woke up to it sounded like something dragging on the ground. I couldn't tell exactly where it was, but it sounded like it was in this general direction and close to the truck, because the wind is making so much noise in my truck. It had to have been close. This dragging goes on, and then all of a sudden there's a pop. I couldn't tell what it was at first, but then I realized that it was the sound of a gun, because there was the sound of a ricocheting bullet hitting concrete. It made the pew sound. I know my reenactment noises aren't great, but it was pretty scary. Another one went off, and it sounded like a small gun, like a 22 or something, but it's 2:30 or 3 in the morning, and there's high schoolers outside of my truck playing with the gun. That's really reassuring. So, I've never felt more unsafe truck camping somewhere. It's just, if I hear them come back, and I hear that gun go off again, I'm probably just gonna have to set my car alarm off, because I'd hate for a stray bullet to come through the back of this thing, even if it is from a 22. It could hit me right here, and I could be dead, so not good. But for the time being, I got 2 more hours to sleep, so I'm gonna try to do that. They haven't been around for the last half. Sorry again about the dead main camera. I wish it was alive too, but hopefully this one suffices.
This incident could have ended far worse. As Mav later explained, one of the bullets fired could have easily struck the van and him inside. Had that happened, the situation would have turned into a tragedy. Some viewers may question the story, particularly since the moment wasn't clearly captured on camera, but Mav is not someone known for exaggerating or fabricating events for attention. What makes this even more significant is that after the video went viral, comments appeared from the very individuals involved in the incident, confirming that it did, in fact, occur. Out of all of the encounters in this compilation, this one carried the most serious potential consequences. Afterward, Mav managed to sleep for another 2 hours without anything further happening. And honestly, I'm glad he did. But it raises an important question. Do you think he made the right decision by staying? Would you have stayed after something like that? We now travel to Denmark, where we meet Sophie, the creator behind the channel Outdoor Girl Sophie, and a true outdoor enthusiast. Camping, fishing, hiking, and spending time in nature come naturally to her. In this particular video, however, Sophie experiences a day that doesn't go quite as planned, though not immediately. The day begins on a positive note. Fully prepared for a night in the forest, she sets out in search of the ideal campsite. After some time, she finds it, a spot that feels quiet, secluded, and exactly what she was hoping for. Let's see how it unfolds.
I brought this new little gadget that I just got. It's like a small table that's extremely lightweight. I think this is like 75 grams or something. And then you just need to find a stick, dig it into the ground a little bit, and then put it in here. I think it's extremely cool. I received it from this guy. His name is Andrew. He works as a nurse full time, but he loves to be outdoors, same as me, and he loves gear. So in his spare time, when he's not working, he's trying to develop some gear that he thinks is needed on the market. And he was very kind to send me this one. I thought it was super cool, and also his story is really nice.
After briefly stepping away to find a suitable stick to use as a stand for her gear, something changes for Sophie. The sense of freedom and peaceful solitude she felt in the forest suddenly disappears. Not because of fear, but for a very specific reason, one she explains herself. From that moment on, the atmosphere is no longer the same. Let's continue and see what caused that shift.
Yeah, just when I thought I was alone, there are 5 guys driving through on their bikes, screaming and giving me a big shock. Yeah, I'm gonna stay here and cook dinner and maybe camp. I don't know. We'll see. Now I cleaned up after my dinner. So now should be the time where I put up the tent and get ready for the night. I don't know. I don't think I feel like staying here for the night. Like, I can hear loud music in the distance. And I can hear cars very close by. Oh, no, there is a guy biking right here. Yeah. I think I need to pack up.
I completely understand Sophie's decision, and it was a very reasonable one. Her instincts told her it was safer to leave, and she listened. I'm not saying she was in immediate danger, but on this channel we've seen many stories where women, in seemingly normal situations, suddenly face serious escalation. In Sophie's case, there were young people partying nearby, likely with alcohol or even other substances involved, which only increased the risk. In situations like that, there is no reason to risk a bad outcome when you can simply skip one night of camping and come back another day. What makes her decision even more sensible is that Sophie didn't have any means of self-defense with her. No knife, no firearm, nothing that could offer real protection. Sometimes the smartest choice is simply to walk away. Josh, the intern, is a true adventurer in every sense of the word. For him, exploring doesn't mean following a marked trail. It means scanning Google Maps for the most remote places he can find and heading straight for them. This time, he discovered something remarkable. a plane crash site hidden deep within a mountain forest. The wreckage has been there since 1986. Without hesitation, he packed his gear and began the long climb through the mountains, determined to reach the site. But along the way, before he even got close to the wreckage, he stumbled upon something far more disturbing. Something that wasn't on any map. Let's take a look.
It seemed to be the ruins of an old building, so I headed in for a closer look. But this is when I discovered something quite terrifying.
Someone definitely lives here. There's canned food. Someone definitely lives here. Maybe not all the time, but often enough, which is crazy, because this is really in ruins and in the middle of nowhere. Very creepy. Here's the bedding. Okay, this is really creepy. This is really creepy. There is photos of the same person up on the wall. Like this is a stalker's house or something. This is creepy. Oh, there's so many photos on the floor everywhere. This place is littered with the same photos of the same people. Look at all these photos. These are all photos of people. All photos of people on the floor. Tons of them. On the bed. I'm gonna get out of here. This is really creepy. I don't know why there's so many photos. That is one of the creepiest things I've ever found while hiking. Someone is living in there, and I think someone is stalking people.
As I headed out of the building, I also found this smaller structure just by it, and inside there was a bed, along with what appeared to be rope.
After leaving that house, I feel like I'm being watched. All of a sudden feels very quiet and eerie around here. There's something really strange going on in these mountains. For sure.
The story doesn't end there. Josh decided the right course of action was to contact the authorities, and he did exactly that. Let's see what happened next.
Alright, hey everyone, I just wanted to come in at the end of the video and just say sorry for such a serious, creepy and sad video. I realized when editing this that it's very different to the style of my normal adventures, which is very fun and silly. The topics and areas that I went into in this video were just, were very serious, and so I didn't feel it'd be right to make a non-serious video. To give an update also on the location, now I am back in civilization. I have contacted the authorities. This was filmed a few months ago actually, so I contacted them. I sent them the location and photos of the area. I haven't heard anything back from them, so I'm not sure if there's been an investigation, but I've heard nothing more on that. But yeah, just so you know, I have contacted them, gave them all the information.
Unfortunately, we still don't have any official answers. No one knows what truly happened out there. And that silence from the authorities is what makes the whole situation even more unsettling. Consider the location, deep in the mountains, far from any road, a place where no one should be wandering. Then add the photographs scattered everywhere, as if someone had been sitting there for a while, quietly watching. Your mind immediately jumps to dark possibilities, too disturbing to even say out loud, and without any answers, all we are left with is a mystery that lingers long after the video ends. Andy is a seasoned explorer and the host of Hacking the Wild on the Science Channel. Over the course of his career, he has traveled to countless extreme locations and faced a wide range of dangerous situations. But this time, he was caught completely off guard. While investigating a swampy area, Andy encountered a much less common type of danger, one that doesn't involve aggressive animals or obvious predators. It was a silent threat, and a highly deceptive one. Let's see what happens.
There go the boots. Wizard staff. This isn't land at all. This is just thick brown pudding. I can't barely use my wizard staff anymore. It's not doing anything. Oh. Okay, I'm pretty stuck here. This is a very bad position to be in. It's freaking me out a little bit. I've seen this water come up and go down already, and I don't want to be back here when it's coming up. I try to see if I can slide this down. If that goes in alongside my body, I can push some air into that vacuum, and then hopefully get my leg back out.
My constant moving is pushing me deeper down into the muck. I need a way to transfer weight off my feet.
It's working a little bit. I move so slow. I gotta make sure not to panic. Okay.
In the end, Andy managed to get himself out of the dangerous situation on his own. Despite all his experience, the terrain deceived him. What he believed to be solid ground almost cost him dearly. The physical effort required to escape was immense, and all the while, predators in the area were nearby, waiting for any sign of weakness. Thankfully, that never happened. It is true that a production crew was close enough to intervene if necessary, but that does not make the situation any less serious. In that moment, Andy was alone with the danger, and this time, it ended well. Jess is a true nature lover, and van trips are a major part of her life. Alongside her dog, Gems, she forms the duo behind the channel, Exploring Gems. But as a woman camping alone in remote locations, fear is not just a passing thought. It's something you feel in every shadow and every unexpected sound. On one of her solo camping nights, those fears stopped being just fears. They became something real and deeply unsettling. Let's take a look.
This is the third logging truck I've seen this morning. They're cutting down our forests left and right. And I'm on BLM land for the first time, which is rather beautiful. The roads are fairly well maintained, but they're doing lots of logging. And there's lots of areas blocked off that say private property. So they're selling off a lot of the land, and just want to raise awareness for myself and anyone else, because this is our land as tax-paying American citizens, our public lands. It even says it on the signs. Enjoy your public lands. Keep it clean. It felt like freedom. Sure, there was the usual trash scattered around. There always is, unfortunately. But other than that, it was perfect. Just me and Jem, completely alone. For a couple of days, it stayed that way. Only the occasional logging truck passed by, and then we'd go back to our quiet little world. But by the weekend, more people started showing up. On our way back from our hike earlier that day, 3 blacked out trucks came rumbling up the road. I stepped aside with Jem, gave a polite wave as they passed, and didn't think much of it. But that moment would end up leading to the scariest night I've ever had on the road. That evening, as the sun started to set, the same group started tearing up and down the road in their quads. Loud and obnoxious, yes, but harmless. At least at first. Jem and I ate dinner, locked up the van, and started settling in for the night. Around midnight, just as I started to drift off, 3 loud knocks right at my sliding door glass. Someone just came knocking on my door in the middle of the national forest, so. So not cool. I froze. My heart stopped. I grabbed my phone to check the security cameras, but of course, it hadn't been plugged in. I peeked out through my bunk window cover. I couldn't see a thing. And those motion sensor lights I still hadn't installed, well, they're sitting right there on my dash. Regret hit hard in that moment. Then I noticed a faint glow up the hill and realized it was a fire, where the trucks from earlier had parked. During an active level 1 fire ban, mind you. And that's when it clicked. These weren't the kind of people you want to cross paths with in the middle of nowhere. So I just sat there, listening. Every sound outside felt amplified. For the next couple of hours, I barely moved. I watched, waited, and checked the cameras over and over. I felt like my heart didn't stop racing until the first hint of daylight.
I don't know about you, but to me it's terrifying to have someone knock on your door in the middle of the night in the middle of nowhere. And for her, alone, unarmed, and with no easy way to escape, the danger level immediately becomes much higher, because you never know what the person outside wants. Maybe they need help, or maybe things could have taken a far darker turn. If you were in her position, would you risk opening that door? Blot Outdoor Show is a YouTube channel focused on camping, food reviews, and, according to the creator himself, good company over a glass of whiskey. The host frequently ventures into nature, and that's exactly what we see in this video. In the footage, he is relaxing in the forest at Heartwood Forest. He's calm, enjoying a beer. The sky is overcast, but the weather is still warm enough for him to stay in just a t-shirt. After finishing his drink and organizing his gear near the tent, he decides it's the perfect time for a short walk through the woods. So he sets off. Let's see what happens next.
I'll give you a look at all my shite. My jacket's still wet. I was sweating coming in. That should dry out. Good old Van Gogh Orion. Just in case it gets cold later on, I've got some down trousers and down slippers in there. Bag of you, all my rubbish. Loads of room in there for me. And I'm going to eat well tonight, mandingos. I've got the usual chorizo, peppered salami. I've got myself a couple of Cornish pasties. Got me pansexual there for burgers for later. Aberdeen Angus burgers, ketchup, plenty of coffees. Got some sausages in the morning. Absolutely class. I've just set my seat up over here, just in case anyone's walking past later on and they're looking up in this direction. I've got this totally blocking us. So I reckon I've got about an hour and a half, 2 hours before it's dark. So rather than just sitting there drinking, I'm going to go for a little wander, see what's kicking about. I may be able to see a better spot to camp, so when I come again later on in the year, I'll know there's a better spot. We'll have a mooch about and we'll see what's about. This is not a bad little spot. It's on a little bit of a slope, but it's nice and grassy. But to be honest, everywhere I've seen so far is no better than what we've already got. I'll go up a little bit further here.
After a brief exploration of the surrounding area, capturing a few shots and enjoying the quiet, he decides it's time to return to the tent. Evening is settling in, and in the forest it's always safer to stay close to your campsite as darkness approaches. But when he arrives back at the tent, something is different. Let's see what happens next.
I came back and here we are. I was thinking, hey, why are you some professional camper? Can't even find your tent. Hey, what the fuck's happened here? What the fuck's this? It's me fucking... Good hell, man. It's fucking strange. Two fucking, sorry for the language, guys. Two Cornish pasties and meat's gone.
It appears that something, or someone, had been through his campsite. Some of the food was eaten, and his belongings were disturbed. The obvious question is, who or what did this, and why? If it was a wild animal, the explanation would be straightforward. It would have smelled food and acted on instinct. But everything was properly sealed, so the scent shouldn't have traveled far. That means any animal would have had to come very close. There is also a far more unsettling possibility. It could have been another person passing through while he was away. They may have eaten what they could and taken the rest, but that raises another question. Why leave the alcohol behind when it was right there? Unfortunately, we never receive a clear answer. Even the host himself cannot explain what happened, and yet, despite the uncertainty, he still chooses to spend the night in the forest. The New Finland Outsider is a channel filled with northern adventures, fishing, hunting, and stunning snowy landscapes. But among all those calm moments, I came across a very different kind of encounter. At first, it doesn't seem like much, until you remember that in the wild, even a non-predatory animal can still pose a serious threat. In this clip, something steps out in front of them that is bigger and more unpredictable than you would expect. Let's take a look.
So there's a moose on the pass here. Looks like he's got his right hind leg hurt. Little 4-point bull. Hey buddy. We're just trying to get past. Oh, I feel sorry for him. He's got a long winter yet. Move off to the path a bit so I can get by. Poor thing.
At first, everything appears calm. The animal doesn't seem aggressive, just standing there quietly, but a wounded wild animal can change its behavior in an instant. In this clip, you can see it lift its head and begin to move slowly toward our guy, clearly curious. It's a moment that could become dangerous very quickly.
Gotta get to the cabin, get the fire going, get my clothes dried up, and offload all this gear. Go on! Hurry up! down to the cabin. Go on. Hey! Hey! Fuck you do. Oh, knock my thing up.
Just one slower reaction, and this could have ended with serious injury. That kick was strong enough to shatter the windshield of his snowmobile. If you look closely, you can see the moose was in pain, and a wounded animal can become unpredictable in an instant. Thankfully, it stopped there, and the man made it home safely. But this moment serves as a stark reminder of how quickly things can go wrong when you're alone in the wilderness.